Hey everybody, welcome back to the Rebel Chums channel. This is part 2 of the Sabercore 2.0 or 3.0 soundboard review. So we're now gonna go over a little bit more of the motions. So I've got a little bit of space here in front of me, next to me. So I'm just gonna show off some of the things that I discussed during the review video, just to emphasize a little bit better by giving more examples, because it's gonna help you to make a decision if you wanna pick up a Saberforge Saber or just a Sabercore 3.0 soundboard. And let's see, here we go. So it's a really nice soundboard, as I said. It's easy to use, so you turn it on, you cycle fonts, it's all relatively easy. So let me turn it on really quick. So it's quite loud. I mean, it has a 28mm bass speaker. Now there are some reports that this bass speaker is not the loudest. You could get aftermarket bass speakers that are louder and more crisp than this one. And especially with certain sound fonts, it might sound a little bit muted with this particular speaker, and I have to attest that, because I did some reviews of for example, my Vadersfield Hero that also has a 28mm speaker, so as my Saber Trio Skylar, and those two are louder than this Saberforge bass speaker. So it definitely comes down a little bit on the quality of the speaker as well and what they can output, but that also has to do with the soundboard itself. But from the reports, it's being said that replacing the speaker for a slightly higher end, more expensive high bass speaker definitely improves the overall audio feedback, and volume goes up a bit. So that might be something to consider if you're do-yourselfer. Anyway, let's go back to the board. So it's quite sensitive, and I'm using the default settings that came out of the box just to emphasize how sensitive it is. And as I said in the video in part 1, what some of my gripes are. So here we go. So swings are pretty good. I would say the swings are like an NAC Igniter R2. It's a bit more responsive than, in my personal opinion, with the Plector Labs Crystal Shard 4.0. It picks up the sounds a little bit. The motions are picking up faster one after each other versus the sensitivity. That's what I mean. It's also in line with the Paxtor / Wonderforce Asteria board that I've tried out, and will be reviewing a comparison soon. But it's really responsive. It picks up relatively small motions as well. And it's a nice board, but there's a few gripes, and there's reports on that on the Saberforge forums. There's definitely a bunch of topics about it. I made a video about it in the past as well. You can check it out. There's an issue. There's something going on with the swing. So if I move very fast, you can hear it. So the audio is. The sound fonts is playing so fast, it sounds like nothing of a lightsaber anymore. It's just completely muffled. And as you spin it, that's exactly the same. So now it has this like clashing sound, like it clashes when I spin it. It does not always have that issue, but it's definitely something that I noticed. Now, of course, there's some tweaking that you can do with the soundboard with using the software, but you have to be very specifically having Windows 10 in a 64-bit format. Otherwise, it won't work, the Saberforge app, and you won't be able to change the sound fonts, change the settings such as volume and such as sensitivity and whatnot. So it's a neat little soundboard. I do like it, but it is not without its flaws, I would say. If I would line it up, and I will do in a review video, but if I line it up in my mind now against a Nano Biscotti version 4, I definitely have to give the Nano Biscotti version 4 the benefits. There's just certain features that soundboard has that are just better working than on the Sabercore. Not to say the Sabercore is horrible, because it's not. It's just it's a soundboard that is going into a direction, but it's not yet there yet. It's not fully there yet. So it's a product in development. I would say it's a beta of a raw diamond. A raw diamond of a soundboard. So it's not 100% there yet, in my personal opinion. It's not a horrible soundboard, but it's not there yet. One thing what I do miss is on the fly put the lightsaber on mute. I didn't figure out, and I don't think there is an option to actually mute it on the fly. I tried many times from the menu. I can change the sound fonts, but I cannot mute it. And that would be a really nice feature if that saber had that as well, because a lot of us play the lightsabers at nighttime when the family is sleeping or whatnot, and put that lightsaber in mute mode. That would be fantastic. It also preserves some battery. If you do trooping and you put it in the mute mode, then you basically have a stun saber. It uses a bit more than usual, but still it's preserving battery longer because it doesn't have to output the audio and whatnot and the swings. But nonetheless, it's a cool lightsaber soundboard. The Sabercore 3.0 is a nice board. It's still in development, I would say. I think with the Sabercore 4.0 we have a killer soundboard. For now, it's reaching to that position, but personally, as I said, I don't think it's 100% there yet. But it's not a horrible soundboard. Like, I can live with this one. This is definitely a big step up from the Sabercore 2.0, which is a really outdated soundboard by now, and that is really. If you compare it, which you will see in a video as well, if you look at that, then it's a night and day difference. So it's not a horrible soundboard. The price range of $350 I think is okay, because Saberforge is a very popular brand, and I don't per se think it has to be on level of a high-end brand as Vader's Vault, because that has its own distinct features and sets, and good bang for buck. Now you get a very good product for money, for a little bit less or around the same price. But that not is always necessary, I think, because not everybody has the same needs. I mean, there's plenty of people out there that are perfectly fine with either a Pico Crumble, or they're perfectly fine with a Sabercore 2.0 or a YDD budget soundboard. So I think there's a market for everything. Doesn't have to be high end all the time, but I do think the Sabercore gives you more value for money than the old Sabercore 2.0. So the 3.0 is pretty nice. So that was part 2. Let me know in the comments what you think about the Sabercore 3.0. What are your thoughts about it? Do you like it? Maybe you don't like it. I want to know everything about it from you guys. Thanks for watching. See you later, and have a good day.